皆さん、こんばんは。僕の名前は白メシコ人です。この映画はいらっしゃいませ。聞きます。お願いします。Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch Investments video for you guys tonight. Really excited about the things I'm going to be showcasing. These are going to be my personal selections, and I hope you enjoy. Getting things started tonight is going to be a very special card that I've been talking about on and off for quite some time now. If you guys have been watching my previous videos, I'm a really huge avid fan of investing in dual terminal cards because they're discontinued. Konami's no longer making them. They got discontinued several years ago, and it's a pretty known fact that the majority of the player basis just really loves dual terminal cards in general, and they look fantastic. They're very aesthetically pleasing in my personal opinion. So I wanted to talk about Lightning Imprisoning Mirror coming out of Dual Terminal 7 as a common. So this is, in my personal experience, it's the highest rarity that we have. There is some Duelist League other ones like the purple, green, blue, all those rares, but those are a really obscure part of the market that not a lot of players even realize are in existence, much alone really acknowledge their price points, but they're still there. They're out there if you guys want to find them, which are technically a little bit more expensive than these. But these, in my opinion, are just they look the best. That's the best rating. Their appearance wise is the greatest. So this is finally seeing some growth in value. For the longest time, this card was sitting around like 4 bones. We can see here that it's the starting market price for this card is roughly around almost 7 bones. There's a 1 stack here for 7, and then it goes up to it's just maintains pretty much at 7 across the board. What you notice here is there's really not that many. There's a 22 stack here, which is a pretty fat stack from Core TCG, a really great seller. They pretty much never mess up orders. Then they're just really good seller. But another thing you want to take note of is that this is the only page here on TCGP. So there used to be several pages of this, at least about 3 or so last time I covered this card personally. And this card has always been a really good card. This may be just the sheer fact that there's the quantity it's drying up on the market. There's only 1 page left. There is a fat stack here, but after that, pretty much everything else is just 1-2 of stacks. And again, it has increased a couple bones since the last time I reviewed it, and rightfully so. This being, again, in my personal opinion, the highest rarity of dual terminal. And of course, you have cards, big house, powerhouse decks out there right now, like Edlic and what's the other big light one? Drytron, however you pronounce it. Anyway, those are pretty big predominant decks right now, and this is just a really good card. So there's nothing more I can really say about this. I don't want to cover this too long, probably going far and beyond with this, but this is really great, and I'm happy that this is finally seeing some increase in value because this card definitely deserves it. So, of course, its brother twin. Here's Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, a little less on the market price, not much change in this. It's still starting market price, roughly around 3 bones starting price, and there's a little bit more availability on here, 3 pages. So this was kind of what it used to be for Lightning Imprisoning Mirror, but obviously with the change in meta and the new powerhouse decks being predominantly light for the most part, really the only other big predominant deck that I can think of that's not a late sector right now is probably Virtual World. There's a pretty good diversity in the meta right now, though, so you never really know. So this is obviously hasn't really changed. This is roughly around 2-3 bones the last time I checked it. It's pretty much 3 across the board, then quickly trickles up to 1. And again, 3 pages available. So, but then again, dark and light have always been the most predominant attributes, big powerhouse attributes, deck archetypes. In general, all across the board of the history of the game, there's always been huge support to dark and light decks. So these are just really great cards. And again, they're dual terminal is discontinued, and they're really undervalued cards, honestly. I don't think either versions of these, light or shadow, should be under 10 bones a copy. Like this is really good. It's hard. I understand it's hard to find room in the extra deck, but depending on, it's completely just stops everything on the field and the graveyard. And depending on what deck you play, if you can play around this card, and and use it against your opponent, it's just devastating. So definitely worth it. So wanted to showcase those 2 cards really quickly. So I've been on this strange old like 1990s PlayStation 1 era craze. I love Tomb Raider. I remember playing this game like way back in the day in the 90s, and I love this game a lot. And I love like the new games, the ones that came out on PlayStation 3, not the ones for 2, but for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And I haven't played Rise of the Tomb Raider yet. Not Rise of the Tomb Raider. Is it Shadow of the Tomb Raider? Whatever the last one that came out in 2018. Anyway, this is a really awesome game, and I'm a 90s baby. White Mexican is a 90s baby, so I'm just curious if you guys remember this game. This really big, infamous game, and it was just really fun. So I just wanted to showcase that really quick because I love the shit out of some Tomb Raider, and Lara Croft's a badass. So really awesome stuff. The next thing on here is gonna be Constellar. So this deck kind of blows. I'll be honest. It's not a very competitive deck. It's very outdated. It's very, very old. Forgive me if you're a Constellar player. I mean, I personally play Satellar Knights. I love Satellar Knights, one of my all-time favorite decks. And sometimes people try to blend the two. It doesn't really work out too well. And you really don't run into this deck hardly ever. It's just a very old deck. But the artwork of the cards is really, really cool. And of course, the deck comes in, for the majority of the deck, it comes in DT. It was in that era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Hidden Arsenal and Dual Eternal ran parallel, and there's a lot of really nice cards, and you can actually see some of the XYZ extra deck monsters here are holding some pretty fat price points here. I mean, there's 24, 31, 30, 27, 28. So these are holding some pretty good price values. These are probably, again, I'm not very familiar with this deck. I've never piled this deck, but it's been around long enough. It's just not a very popular deck. A lot of people don't pick it up, but it looks very, very beautiful. Sheer fact that it comes in DT, and like a lot of the stuff is just really, really cool looking. Like a lot of the monsters are just really cool looking, and again, it's just a fun little side casual light based archetype decor, which is really cool. So I just wanted to highlight this really quick because I just figured like it deserves some love, because for the most part, it's relatively cheap still, besides obviously the top dollar cards here. And it's just, the artwork is just fantastic. And again, the majority of it comes in dual terminal, if not almost all of it. So that is definitely a really good thing to get on early. Next is going to be Judgment of Anubis. So I'm going to be going on a little bit of an Egyptian themed ride here for you guys. So Dark Crisis original print. There is also an ultra rare version dawning from one of the Dark Revs, which, player preference, people value things differently and people go for certain things. I personally, like the majority of players, go for OG print, and this being a high rarity of secret rare. But don't disregard the ultra rares from Dark Revelations. There's definitely a collector's market out there. There's definitely a good amount of players that really appreciate Dark Revelation stuff, and even now I think there's definitely Dark Beginnings starting to bleed into the collector's market too, because the Dark Rev stuff is pretty much been picked pretty clean off the market. So just be aware of that. But this is the OG print dawning out of Dark Crisis as a secret rare OG Generation 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! A really amazing stuff. Obviously you have the Egyptian god here, Anubis, and this card, for what it is, it's really cool. The sheer fact that you have to pay for it by discarding is kind of really what brings this card down. But it is a counter trap, and it's basically a Ring of Destruction, and it can stop. Protect your back row. So it's pretty cool. I've actually seen people tech this in every once in a while. It's like every couple of years people try to tech this in, and it doesn't really work out that well, but it still holds up. I definitely think it still holds up to a certain extent, depending on what's going on in the game state. And this is mostly just for collector's value, definitely. I'll definitely mention this. This is just because of just being ancient, the age of this card. The artwork is completely blowout, and of course it being a high rarity of secret rare. Back in the day, Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Secret rare was the ceiling. Like, there was super, ultra, and secret. There wasn't any ghost, there wasn't any ultimate, there wasn't any starlight. There was none of that craziness. It was all just straightforward, and that was it. So this was a really big deal to get back in the day. Unlimited is really nothing. They're like about 2 bones if you factor in shipping. There's 5 pages here on the market, and the first edition, and again, I would only recommend, with this card being so affordable, I would definitely only exclusively invest in the first editions. The first lightly played first edition is going to be roughly around 8 bones plus. Then it quickly jumps to just under 10, and then the first near mint is about 11 bones. So really great stuff. on Anubis. Really love the artwork on that. Next is going to be the end of Anubis, dawning from Ancient Sanctuary, another great Gen 1 set here. Of course, as a secret rare. There was some rumors, I don't know if it was like rumors or hype behind when Sky Striker was running the show and just completely annihilating everything in the meta. There was this and a couple other cards people try to mess around and tech around with to try to counter Sky Strikers. This obviously being a tribute monster didn't really work out too well, but the sheer fact that this is again Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh, very very old, high rarity of secret rare, and the artwork again is just astonishing. Is the anything like I really love secret rares, but like stuff that has like purple and gold in it just looks really really good. It pops very well. It's very, very predominant in the secret rare hollow foiling. So this just looks great too. And of course, obviously the name and it looks like he's in a pyramid or something like this. Maybe a chamber from a pyramid. But the artwork is just phenomenal. And again, this is just a very old card. And again, back in the day, we only got 2 secrets per core set. So pulling a secret rare was a really big deal. This is definitely on the collector side of the market. So you guys, I would highly recommend that you guys exclusively go for first edition prints. Unlimiteds are going to be roughly around 7-8 bones, and then our first edition lightly played is going to be around 15 bones. Then it quickly jumps to just under 20 bones, and then there's only one near mint condition print here on TCGP, and that is donning a 50 bone price tag. So also only 2 pages, so this is definitely running low on the quantity side of things. Next is going to be Gravekeepers. So I kind of talk about Gravekeepers a lot every once in a while. I really, really love Gravekeepers a lot. Obviously, they have an Egyptian-based theme here. All the cards take place in Egyptian-related stuff, and of course, we have a ploy off Anubis here with the whole dog mask and all that helmet. Pretty great stuff, and this is just a really fun old school deck. And every once in a while, it's definitely not on the competitive same status as Mermail Atlantean. That is definitely a deck that can just pop in and shotgun your opponent in the face and just take them out and completely take them by surprise, and it has like a very high chance of getting that game won almost indefinitely. And that's what's really great about Mermail Atlantean. This deck's a little bit slower. It's the chances of winning that game 1 is not very high with this deck, but it's just such a fun deck to play, and it's super old. And again, like it just has this really classic like Gen 1 Egyptian art style theme to it, which is really really great. And there's a lot of awesome rarities. So obviously Champion Pack Spy, I talked about this a couple videos ago, went through all the Champions packs, so this is a collector's value as a hollow foil old Champion Pack card. My personal favorite is the Ultima versions of Commandant. We also got ultra rare prints as well, this being the highest rarity OG prints out of a very old set, Force of the Breaker, which is roughly holding around almost 40 bones. Again, this is going to be kind of flash prices review, so you guys have to dig a little deeper if you want to go for immediate prices within the TCGP here. One thing I want to take a note of is, it goes without saying, Spy is definitely probably the more popular one, because back in the day, like old school Yu-Gi-Oh day, before Tour Guide and for all these crazy special summoning from the deck monsters, this was kind of like Gen 1 Tour Guide. This and the other generic level 4s, like Shining Angel and Mystic Tomato, are really the only cards that we had to special summon from the deck. So this was pretty out of the world for this card to come out so early, and it was just really great. And it was used a lot in Cookie Cutter Chaos, which was a really infamous old school format that I really enjoyed as a kid. So we got the super rares, the secret rares from Legendary Collections 4. This is an amazing reprint set, same as 3. I mean, pretty much all of the Legendary Collection sets, just high rarity, really great choices. You guys should definitely check them out. The Commandant, of course, obviously we have the ultra rares here, which came out of Legendary Collection 3, and there's ultra rares for the majority of this stuff. Quick story about Gravekeeper's Servant. So this isn't like a natural, I guess, that wasn't intended for this to be a part of the Gravekeeper's, I guess, archetype or whatever. Maybe it was, but it was really just because of the name. But the original print, so this card originally came out of Magic Ruler, which was set 3, Gen 1 set 3, and there was a censorship ploy on this where they slipped up. Obviously, the reprints, I think it was just the original prints, and then I think maybe the Dark Beginning commons as well. Either way, the crucifixes were changed, so they slipped through the cracks. So the censorship went through for the first run prints. So that's kind of a cool story behind that. After it was reprinted after that, and again, I think everything after Dark Beginning was when they actually caught the censorship and they actually changed from the crucifix graves to just the normal tombstone graves. So kind of a little cool collector's value and history merit on that card. So the last thing I wanted to talk about about Gravekeepers is, so the secret rares, there's also ultra rare prints, of course the super rare print of Spy, but I think more importantly, which is starting to catch some attention, is the dual terminal 6 rares. Out of all the Gravekeepers cards, this has always been my favorite, well, Command is my favorite, but Spy has a lot of different cool prints. Command has an Ultimate print, which is really cool, but Spy has, again, a super, ultra, a secret, and it also has the this dual terminal rare. Again, you guys know my history and kind of my merit points on dual terminal. I'm not going to sound like a broken record repeating why I think investing in dual terminal sooner than later is just very, very impactful. And this card is finally, again, starting to see, I can't remember the last time I reviewed this, but for the longest time, it was like well under a bone. It was well under a bone for like all day long, all across the board. And you can see finally, it's finally starting to dwindle here on the market. Players are finally starting to take note of this card. There's only 2 pages left. And the starting market price is 5 bones across the board. You factor in shipping, it's a 1 stack. It's going to cost you a little, a bit over 5 bones, depending on how your card's set up and everything. And this makes me so happy to see this card increase in value. One, because I've invested very heavily. I have several copies. I mean, I have, binders and binders of specifically exclusively DT stuff, this being very, very heavy, being that it was so cheap for the longest time, and I'm a big fan of Gravekeepers, and it's old school and it's dual terminal, just a whole bunch of great stuff. So I'm really, really happy to finally see some increase and starting to dwindle on the market. So if you guys picked it up, that's awesome on you. If not, there's still opportunities to pick it up. I mean, maybe trade for it, but it's definitely starting to go up. And rightfully so, that players are finally starting to pick up on the value for this print specifically. Next is going to be the Gold Series Haunted Mine, which I believe was Gold Series 4, if I'm not mistaken. More specifically, the Ghost Gold. So I talk about these cards in and out, and of late, and actually for quite some time now, these have increased to some pretty great, had some pretty exponential growth and risen to some pretty great price points. Blue Eyes White Dragon was always had a relatively good price point. For the longest time, it was sitting around like 20, 40 bones, and it jumped to like 60, 80. And I mean, right now it's looking at anywhere between 90 and 123 bones. And this is always just, again, being Blue Eyes White Dragon, being the only ghost rare version. I mean, OCG has a plethora, at least 2 ghost rare versions of just pure ghost rare versions, not even ghost gold hybrids. I don't think that the OCG actually got ghost gold hybrid treatment. I think that was just us here exclusively in the TCG, if I'm not mistaken. But so obviously, naturally, this one was always relatively holding us pretty good. Nowhere near when the set first dropped, like none of this stuff was really worth much of anything. These obviously being the highest rarities, they were worth the most, but really nothing too appalling. And over time, obviously, Judgment got completely lifted off the list of 3, which is just amazing. Of late, I've been really, really going back to my roots of anti-meta, so I was super excited about Judgment going to 3, this being the highest rarity. What I want to talk about more specifically about Solemn Judgment, besides the fact that these 6 cards are still to the date the only 6 cards printed in the TCG with the Ghost Gold hybrid rarity, makes them very unique on their own merit alone, but more specifically, even more so for Judgment and MST, because these are the only Magic and Trap cards in the entire TCG that were produced and printed in the rarity of Ghost Rare. I mean, we have Ultimate Rares, Secret Rares, Ultra Super, like everything under the sun, but Judgment and MST, specifically these prints from Gold Series. I'm sorry, it was Gold Series 5, not Gold Series 4. So Haunted Mine was Gold Series 5. Anyway, these are the only Magic and Trap cards in the whole entire game that we have that come in Ghost. Now, they are Ghost Gold hybrids, but they are still very much Ghost rare cards, and the prices are reflecting. So these are just holding some really phenomenal price points. Even Gores is almost, it looks like Gores has surpassed Nateria Barkion, which is very surprising. I did not expect this to pass. I always thought that Gores was going to be the most affordable Ghost Gold hybrid. But it looks like it's between 11 and 18 bones here, which is very, very interesting, because not that long ago, I want to say maybe like a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, this card was like 2-3 bones. It really was not that much. So it's not surprising that these prices have just grown exponentially, but it's very exciting, because this is something that I've always really appreciated, and I'm happy that they're finally seeing some great value influxes. So next is going to be an obscure set. Premium Pack 1 and 2 are going to be next. Really cool artwork on the booster pack here. And interesting set. Very, very, very particular sets here, because the set breaks down to a total of 22 cards, and it's all the same cards reprinted in either Secret or Super. You can see here. So it's 7 Super Rares and 15 Secret Rares. But the majority of the cards, if not all of them, if I can recall here, besides, I think, Red Eyes Black Metal, I think was the only one, and I think this one, Zera the Mant, are the only ones that come only Secret, if I'm not mistaken. No, I guess not. Here's a Super Rare here. Anyway, so it's either Super Rare or Secret Rare. Like you can see here, Legacy of Yata-Garasu is holding pretty great value. It's basically like a Jar of Greed, plus it has the bird on here, which makes it really special. Missed the good old bird from the lock list. And this, is around 6 bones. Then you go down here to the Super, and it's like not even a bone. So, sadly enough, that's kind of interesting. The price fluctuation, same set, same card, just 2 rarities above is a Secret, and it's significantly higher. So that's kind of interesting. Gemini Imps is a really cool card. That looks really nice. Again, I have several of these, and these are really cheap, and who knows, it's just an old school hand trap. It's very situational. Really cool artwork, though, and I love how it comes Secret Rare. A Secret Rare from an obscure set like this, Premium Pack, is pretty cool. So, again, only 24 cards. This was a very, very short time running set, and it was just a very particular obscure set, and I really like to dip into those every once in a while. Premium Pack 2 saw exponentially more value, predominantly probably because it was a lot of hero stuff. There's a lot of crazy hero and Cyber Dragon players out there that have completely separate collectors markets of their own. Some really, really avid collectors for the heroes and the Cyber Dragons. Mizuki's really great. I love zombies. Ever since Zombie Horde came out, I've really fallen in love with the zombie train. And of late, I feel like there's been a little bit more of an influx in zombie players, combining it with the Etlich stuff and whatever else have you for their blends, but it's been a very, very strong deck, and relatively with Super Poly too. Super Poly just completely took zombies to a whole nother level. So really cool, awesome. There's also a DT version, which I personally have the DTs over the Secrets. I think the Secret Rares look great. I would love to have Secret Rares. They just carry a lot fatter and heavier price tag compared to DTs, and I still think the DTs look phenomenal. So I personally have the DTs. And I always have a hard time fitting Mizuki in, though. I really love this card, but I've yet to make a recent build where I actually even run a single copy of it. But a really phenomenal card. So, again, the same breakdown. 20... Well, actually, I guess there's a different one. This one's 20 Secret Rares and 11 Super Rares. What was the other one? Was the other one the same, too? 15. Okay, so no, the Premium Pack 2 was a bigger set. So this set was only 22 cards, 15 Secret, and 7 for the first. They jumped it up. They jumped it up to 20 Secrets and 11 Super Rares. And I guess there was 31 cards in this set. So a little bit bigger. So you got Secret Rare, Hall of the Fallen, and again, just a bunch of pretty much hero stuff. This Searcher card for fairy stuff is going for ridiculous price points. It's almost 40 bones here. There's 8 listings. I mean, you guys have to check that out, dig in a little deeper. But again, obviously all the high rarity the hero stuff is going for some fat prices too. Warlion Ritual Secret Rare, apparently this is between 30 and 42, so really crazy stuff. The secret version of Heat it looks like is the highest kind of chase card. Only 3 listings, and it's sitting at between 90 and 160. So really crazy, obscure value in these subsets that are very old now. Next is going to be Legendary Collections 5Ds. So this was, to my understanding, to the best of my knowledge, if I remember correctly, the very first Legendary Collection. After this, we had Legendary Collection GX, I think it was, or something like that, or maybe it was I forget the order of like the animes and like the kind of sets, because I kind of came in like after this. 2011 era was when I came back into the game, but really cool stuff here. I mean, we got Secret Rare E-Telly, we have Secret Vanity Zafine. This is a huge chase card. People, just like Maxi, are just been collecting this like crazy. This is relatively expensive, between 11 and 18. This is a really great choice. If you're going to pick this up, definitely pick up first editions, but do not forget that the Secret Forces produced a super rare version. Again, I would exclusively invest in the super rare first as well. There's the Star Strike Blast original commons that are really great too. But anyway, this is a Superman card, and a lot of people are anticipating this, and its price point is always kind of fluctuating, but this being the highest rarity, it always holds really good value. So would definitely recommend picking up some of your copies. It's definitely going to come off the list. What Mexican Theory is, everything comes off the list. It's just a matter if Konami decides to errat them or not. We got Ultra Rare Maxi over here. We have Secret Rare Formula. Got some Blackwing stuff. Got Secret Armory Arm. Of late, Debunk has gone up for a plethora of reasons. As the highest rarity is a Secret Rare. We have Black Guard in here, which is holding good price, almost just shy of 10 bones. One of my favorites here for the set, Glow Up Bulb, as a Secret Rare TG Hyper Librarian, Ancient Sacred Waverin. There's just tons of great stuff. Holofoils of the TG stuff, and this is just a really cool set. So as I said, with all the other collectors, Legendary Collections, these are amazing reprint sets. And when I say reprint, I don't mean that in like a derogatory way, like good reprints. Like the majority of the secrets are just really juicy and great in these sets. So this is really old. Again, I think if I'm remembering correctly, it was the first Legendary Collection set, so, or at least one of the first. So definitely great history value on that. Next is going to be Retro Pack. So a lot of people know Retro Pack as a very high-end, very hard-to-get collector set, and they would be correct. There is some ungodly, just ridiculous numbers of value in this set. The Grand Gem prize here, holding the highest, from what it seems here from the flash prices, is the Secret Rare version of Copycat. There is also Shonen Jump Ultra Rare promos, which I personally have myself. I think they look really nice as they are Shonen Jump promos. This completely is superior in every way as a Secret Rare. It just looks gorgeous. I've always really loved this card. It's really outdated. It's not really a competitive card by any means, but I believe this was a Pegasus card in the anime, or I'm not really sure, I can't remember, but the artwork is just really cool. And back in the day, just the idea of this card was actually really strong, and it's just a really cool card. And again, I love level 1s. It's a level 1 light spellcaster 0/0, and it just has really cool artwork. And this being obviously one of my favorite rares of Secret Rare, coming from Retro Pack, is just ungodly expensive. It's apparently 225 plus. I don't even know if there's just a single listing here. I mean, I'm not sure, because there's not a lot of information here. Same with the Dark Magician here, Ultra Rare. It's Retro Pack, so it's money. Ultra Rare Regeki, it's Retro Pack, so it's money. 50, 200. Red Eyes in the classic structure deck. I mean, apologies, starter deck era artwork / original set, core set, Exodia Relinquish, all this crazy stuff. I mean, I think it's safe to say that outside of the original lineup of classics, Exodia, Red Eyes, Dark Magician, obviously Copycat's going to be a hard chase. Regeki there's so many prints of Regeki, but again, because it says Retro Pack, there's going to be money, and obviously it's a higher rating than the original print from LP as a Super to Ultra, so that's pretty cool. Sangan, again, a lot of people prefer this and would say this is the highest rarity as in the hardest copy to get. There's also Secret Rare prints, and I think it's Turbo Ultras, which are really nice. And there's so much value to this set. It's insane. I wasn't around when Retro Pack was printed. Maybe I was. I can't even remember. I don't even remember when the set came out. I know it's super old, and I think maybe it was underproduced or manufactured. I'm not really sure, but these cards are just really hard to get, and the price points reflect. I mean, even a super rare Penguin Soldier here. Penguin Soldier. We get super rares from Starter Deck Pegasus or Starter Deck Joey first edition, which is a good card. I would definitely invest in that, by the way. First editions exclusively, because sheer being old in general. Gen 1 starter decks. Anyway, this one's like 60 bones. The measly rare of Graceful Charity. I mean, no disrespect to Graceful Charity. It's an amazing card. But this is definitely not the highest rarity. I mean, there's Parallel Ultras, there's Secrets, there's their OG Starter Deck Pegasus 1 Super Rare First Editions, and this one says Retro Pack, so it's like almost 50 bones, and then 50 bones plus, so it's just crazy. There's just crazy value. Super Rare Judgment is like almost 30 apparently, and even like the rares, that's more interesting about this set, is like the rares are good money. Like you can see here, like the rares are like over 10 bones, which is pretty crazy. 103 cards, so there is obviously commons in here, 49 commons, but pretty much rare and up in this set is just insane money. Oh, that's cool. Lijin came as a super rare. I didn't know that it came. I thought the alternative artwork was the first holo foil that we got here in the TCG, but anyway, just insane. And of course, same following in suit with Retro Pack 2. We have Blue Eyes Shining Dragon as a secret rare, downing just shy of 700 bones. Dragon Master Knight as a secret rares, between 100 and apparently almost 500 here. Pretty insane. This is, I guess, how it was set up. I don't know if there was actually boxes of Retro Pack produced, or if it just was sold separately in these soul blisters. I'm not really sure. Ring of Destruction. This secret rare looks like, I'm pretty sure is showing a fatter price tag than even the original Pharaonic Guardian first edition secret, which is really insane. You have to take into consideration there is an ultimate rare of this as well, so you definitely look into the original. In my personal opinion, I mean, this version, being that it is Retro Pack and the hype behind the collectability behind this set, it's not even really hype, it's facts. It's just a really hard set to get, especially nowadays, being that it's so old. But I would much rather, player preference, I would much rather prefer the Pharaonic Guardian first edition exclusive OG prints myself personally. The ultimate rares do look very nice as well, but I would personally prefer having the original first edition secrets, and I actually do. That's the version for me specifically, personally. And there's just a lot of just crazy good stuff in here. Injection Fairy Lily as an ultra rare, sitting anywhere between 10 to almost 30 bones. Obviously, the Legacy of Darkness first edition secrets, I think those are roughly about 100. The last time I checked, they're going for roughly around 100 bones for around the Lightly Played first editions specifically. Just an all-around amazing. This is one of my all-time favorite collectors, Gen 1 old school secrets, cutesy anime girl cards, all that stuff. It kind of just checks all the boxes in the list. And there's just really great stuff in this set. I really love the name of this card, Dreth Scythe Harvester. That name sounds so sinister. Like, the card's probably really bad. It's just an old school secret rare that ranges between, you can get it for 10 bones or 80 bones. So it just goes to show like how insane these front prices are here set up on this platform. But really great stuff. If you guys are curious, I would definitely check those sets out. Really old school subsets. So next is going to be Bandai cards. So Bandai cards, if you guys are not familiar, the majority of you probably are. It's relatively a popular thing. It was if I have my history correct, if I can remember correctly, Bandai cards were produced in the era of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the late 90s in Japan exclusively, before Konami took over the manufacturing rights and actually started making the cards. I don't remember what company it was, but a Japanese company that originally, like, obviously there was the manga and then the anime, and then I think somewhere in between the manga and the anime they started producing actual cards, which I don't remember I want to say, I believe it was Bandai cards, but when I was actually looking through here, there's a couple different versions of the Bandai cards that I found, so I'm only really knowledgeable, very small bits of knowledge of Bandai this generation specifically when it comes to kind of like the prehistoric era of Yu-Gi-Oh! In Japan. But really cool stuff. These are real cards, and they were just produced before Konami took over the manufacturing rights. So again, this is what the back of the cards look like. This one obviously was printed in 99. Really old, really great stuff. This is super rare, as you can see. Blue Eyes. There's actually 2 versions of this that came out in Japan. This is obviously the English version, and then there's the same card, same artwork, same rarity that came out in, of course, the Japanese language and the OCG. So really great stuff. I think these are definitely, if not already in high-end collector's value. There's little to no players, even people that don't collect OCG. I think that these cards, especially for the holo foils, they definitely spark interest in players. This has always been something I've really enjoyed. These were like a corner of the market cards. I always sought after these and picked these up for the most part if the prices were in range when I was in Japan. So really great stuff. And here on eBay, you can get them relatively cheap. Depending, I mean, this one's on bid. There's only 2 days left. Right now, it's starting only at a bone. There's the $5 shipping because obviously it's coming from all the way across the world from Japan. But some really good stuff. So, and there's a lot of cool different stuff. Like they have Black Skull Dragon. Sorry, this is Black Skull Dragon. This is Red Eyes Black Dragon, and Time Wizard, Polymerization, a whole bunch of really cool stuff. My personal favorite, obviously, is I like the Blue Eyes and the Red Eyes Black Dragon because they're super rares and they just look really cool and old school artwork. But the Harpy stuff is uncensored and all its original artwork glory. And this is kind of what I was talking about. I don't know what these were. When I was in Japan, I never saw these before. I have no idea what these are. Apparently, going by the descriptions, they were the same era of card prints as Bandai, but I'd never seen. I went to a lot of different parts of the country, never saw these versions of the cards, but I did see several Bandai cards, and I don't know, the Bandai cards look cooler in my opinion, and just I don't know, I like them better. So really cool stuff. So if you guys are into Bandai stuff, I would definitely check it out. I don't know what other platforms you guys use. Personally, I use eBay, so completely up to you guys. But I just thought that was a cool little side thing. I wanted to show you guys a little piece of OCG. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. I would love for all of you guys to add me, message me. I'd love to talk about anything Yu-Gi-Oh with you guys. Yu-Gi-Oh has been part of my life for almost 2 decades. Really compassionate about this game. I love the investing, the brotherhood, the trading, the dueling, the deck building, all that really great stuff. I think Yu-Gi-Oh can do some really amazing things if you just let it. Put in the funds, put in the work, put in the time, and it's going to give back. I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.